The World Health Organization has told the BBC it believes the coronavirus pandemic will go on for a year longer than it needs to because of the unequal distribution of vaccines. It comes as a group of charities have criticised the UK and Canada for themselves using doses from COVAX, the global programme to ensure vaccines are distributed fairly. Naomi Grimley reports.
It's the question we all keep asking. When will this pandemic end? Not as soon as it could is the answer from the World Health Organization because of uneven vaccine distribution across the world. There've been plenty of summits about vaccine donations to poorer countries, but the exasperation of WHO officials is clear to see.
We need a stock take. The G20 will meet at the end of October. We need them to say, where are we against those commitments? And I can tell you today, you're not on track. You need to really speed it up, or you know what? This pandemic is going to go on for a year longer than it needs to.
COVAX was the international programme set up to ensure all countries, both rich and poor, could get enough vaccines to cover at least 20% of their population. But it hasn't worked out as planned. The vast majority of vaccine doses administered have been in richer countries. Africa especially has been left behind. A new analysis from a group of charities called the People's Vaccine Alliance shows the huge gap between what the world's richest countries have promised to give the poorest versus the number of doses delivered so far. The UK and Canada have been singled out for particular criticism as both countries acquired some vaccines from COVAX for their own populations, even though they had their own supplies.
On the one hand, every country that joined the COVAX facility was entitled to obtain vaccines. But these two countries obtained many, many doses through bilateral agreements that could best be characterized as hoarding. So the idea then that they would double dip and take more vaccines from the COVAX initiative really is morally indefensible.
The UK stressed it had helped kickstart COVAX and was one of its most generous financial supporters. The Canadian government told us it's now stopped procuring vaccines from COVAX.
As it became clearer that the supply that we had secured through our bilateral deals with different companies like AstraZeneca, Pfizer, and Moderna would be sufficient for the Canadian population, we then pivoted the doses that we had procured from COVAX to be donated back to COVAX so that they could be redistributed to developing countries that needed those doses.
The latest warning from the World Health Organization is that the pandemic will continue deep into 2022. It's urging pharmaceutical companies and wealthy nations to make sure low-income countries are now prioritised in the queue for life-saving vaccines. Naomi Grimley, BBC News.